Investors all over the world are growing increasingly nervous about the prospect of a wide trade war, which would likely spark a global recession following the high percentage of tariffs placed on different countries of the world by the United States President Donald Trump. Analysts have been expressing fears that the tariffs are poised to have far-reaching effects on world economic growth due to much higher manufacturing costs, falling business confidence, market volatility, and supply chain disruptions. Nigeria is also one of the countries of the world facing high tariffs from the United States government. According to reports, President Donald Trump announced a 10% tariff on exports to the U.S. for almost all the countries of the world. He then imposed higher tariffs on 60 named countries, with Nigeria getting 14%, the second highest in Africa. A financial analyst, Professor Olusegun Kehinde, said the new tariffs will have dire consequences on the nations of the world, and the U.S. will also feel the heat of its actions. He noted that no country can survive in isolation, but the smaller nations like Nigeria would be most hit because the U.S. remains one of the major buyers of its crude.
Taking your products to another country that is slammed with tariffs means those products becomes expensive in those countries, and there's the likelihood that citizens of those countries will reject those goods, especially when they are non-essentials. So you will therefore see a situation that there will be a glut in the market in the supply of those kind of products, and once there is a glut, there is a tendency that you will have also the prices significantly dropping. All right, once there is a glut, prices will drop, and once prices drop, you know also the implication that the warehouses, the stores will have excess goods that are yet unsold, and then it also has its rippling effect, in which case you will have a situation where the citizens of that producing country will be out of employment, because if you cannot empty your warehouses to produce more, what you will have is a situation where you have to fold your arms until you sell, and then storage itself costs money. So the earlier those items get out of your warehouses and stores, the better for you to be able to produce more products, and then you can keep your economy rolling. So we expect that there will indeed be a recession.
Research has shown that Nigeria's exports to the United States over the last 2 years have consistently ranged between $5 to $6 billion annually. A significant portion of over 90% comprising crude oil, mineral fuels, oil and gas products. The second largest export category, accounting for approximately 2 to 3%, includes fertilizer and urea, followed by lead. The country also exports smaller quantities of agricultural products such as live plants, flour and nuts, which accounts for less than 2% of the total exports to the U.S. In his reaction, a public affairs analyst, Comrade Wale Adebisi, said the federal government is already trapped because of the bad economic policies the country has been implementing over the years, which has greatly supported the free trade policy of the United States that unleashed capitalism on weaker economies.
If you have a fantastic product that you are going to export to them, you shouldn't be worried about his tariff. If his country cannot take our product, you take it to another country. But what are we actually exporting, and what are they collecting from Nigeria? It is the crude. Nigeria petroleum is what they need, and then we sell it anyhow to any part of the world. We have been selling it anyhow because our exchange is not as fantastic as their own. What we take from them is not as fantastic as what they take from them. They can buy it at anyhow because they are determinant factor. It's a capitalist economy. Yeah, and then they unleash capitalism all over the world. And capitalism is about exploitation and extortion of the weaker countries, or those countries that make themselves to be weak because of the poor leadership. So you begin to take care of the economy of America. In as much as your products, you are hooked to them, and you cannot even determine your own economic values. So you have to hook on America. You must depend on America, and America wants every country of the world to depend on them. But some countries like China don't depend on them. They have told them to go to hell and take a permanency there. But countries like Nigeria cannot say that, simply because Even the human capital development is so weak. People go there, they travel down there in a japa process to go and look for greener pasture.
Speaking on the way forward, Professor Kennedy said Nigeria must look inward to put an end to over-reliance on foreign countries to help grow its economy.
The US itself is not going to stand alone as if it can conquer everybody else. The US itself also imports from other countries as necessary. So, and the US companies too export to other countries. So once there is a retaliation, or if you like, a reciprocity of those kind of tariffs, what you will find also is that it will also have a backlash on the US. So US companies also will have issue. Look at in the international market now. You will see that products that are coming from the US are beginning to lose value. Secondly, the stock market in the US is getting challenged. So you will see that, therefore, companies that are quoted on the stock exchanges in the US will also lose values because of the kind of situation that I've just explained that could play out in Nigeria, where products from the US also will become expensive in the other countries, and then the economy will slow down in the US, and then also they will lose value. So it's not an issue for one person that you can say, oh no, this matter can just be resolved as simple as it is. So it's not that simple. So there will be backlashes.
The Nigerian government said it would avoid retaliation on the 14% tariff imposed on Nigeria and approach the World Trade Organization (WTO) for a beneficial solution to all parties. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.